I was lost for like 2 hours, but we got here. Anyway, welcome everyone. We're really pleased to be here today with City Slicker Farms, and the mayor and a distinguished group of people. I think I'll just name who they are. First of all, Barbara Finnan, who is the Executive Director of City Slicker, is here. Mayor Newsom, who needs no introduction. A.G. Kawamura, Secretary of Agriculture for the state, right here. Ann Wright, who is the Deputy Undersecretary at USDA, in charge of the programs that deal with gardens like this. Paul Muller from Full Belly Farm, one of the great farmers in the state of California, actually, and a man you'll all want to meet. And Gina Frommer from the Bayview Hunters Point YMCA, and actually Gina and right here, A.G., Paul, we're all part of the Urban Rural Roundtable, which the mayor convened in the city of San Francisco to develop the idea of a regional food shed. So with that, I'm going to hand it to Barbara.
Thank you, Michael. As Michael said, my name is Barbara Finnan. I'm the Executive Director of City Slicker Farms, and I want to welcome you all to West Oakland Woods. This is one of our 6 community market farms here in West Oakland, and I want to thank you all for coming together around this really important topic about getting fresh food access to all people, specifically our most vulnerable communities. And here we stand in West Oakland. This is an amazing community with a rich history, and it's also a community that has interlocking stresses. I'm talking about poverty, I'm talking about pollution and lack of transportation, and also lack of access to fresh, healthy, affordable food. All of these things coming together to create chronic health conditions, health disparities because of where somebody lives, and this is not right. If I want to go and get a meal, what are my major choices? I can go to my 45 or more liquor stores and corner stores and get overprocessed, non-nourishing foods. I could go to fast food joints. These are not right choices. These are our choices. These are not just food choices. So, in 2001, West Oakland residents stood up and said, we want to make a difference here, and created City Slicker Farms to meet this food access need and use the resources here that already exist in our community. We stand in what was an abandoned plot. We have many people with gardening and farming skills, all resources here to create these programs. So what we're doing is we're taking blocks like this and creating community market farms, and all the food that we grow here goes to our weekly farm stand for West Oakland residents, and all that food is sold sliding scale. No one is turned away for lack of funds. And then through our backyard garden program, we're meeting people where they're at their homes, giving them the resources and things that they need to grow food for themselves and their family. And through our urban farming education program, we're working with people who are interested in the new green collar careers in urban gardening and urban farming. And what's huge with this is that we need to scale up these programs. We have amazing organizations here in West Oakland that are doing grassroots level things. How do we make this bigger? We need to partner with our cities. We need to partner with City of Oakland, which we are. We're working with them to rethink under-resourced parkland, to think of it as an opportunity for our community to get together and grow food for itself. And I just want to thank both the City of Oakland and the City of San Francisco for their commitment to making healthy food access a right for everyone, and not just for people that can afford it. And with that, I just want to turn it over really quickly to Abani Ramsey, our new Community Market Farms Coordinator, who's a resident here in West Oakland. She's going to tell her story.
So as Barbara has stated, I am a resident of West Oakland. I've lived in West Oakland for 10 years. And I have experienced firsthand sort of the limitations of our food access. I'm the woman who's gone to the liquor store to buy milk at $4 a quart, and who's gone to try to find fruits and vegetables, and you have either your choice of potatoes, onions, or lemons. And so food justice and food security are paramount issues in my life. I went from West Oakland to Davis to participate in their International Agricultural Development Program and received my bachelor's from there, and returned to my community, and really wanted to find a job that partnered my education with my passion and my experience and my desire to help my community. I had come into contact with City Slicker Farms through the Backyard Garden Program. They put a garden in my yard, and it has been thriving and flourishing for almost 3 years now. And I was amazed to see that there was a position open where I could take my Bachelor of Science and apply it to real life issues that not only affected me but affected my community, and through that partnership be able to pay for things that I needed in my life through employment, take care of my children, and also take care of my community and increase access for all people within West Oakland to the food that we need to nourish ourselves, to nourish our families, and to combat many of the health issues and social issues that pose challenges in the community. So I am thankful to the City of Oakland, to partnerships with City of San Francisco, to all of our funders for providing an opportunity for to make real life change, in a West Oakland community, and real change in my life as well. So I'm very appreciative of that.
Your name and title?
My name is Abeni Ramsey. I am the Community Market Farm Coordinator for
Your first name?
A-B-E-N-I.
Abeni, thank you. Of course.
Well, we came to this place because it's beautiful, and it's a representation of what's emerging all over the United States and all over the Bay Area. For an announcement that the mayor would like to make, Mayor Newsom, about a project that emerged from a project. Really, the announcement emerged from a project that Roots of Change has been working on with the city and with 50 leaders, 25 from the countryside, 25 from the city, to seed the concept of a food shed for the region, for the Bay Area. And it's a very important effort. No city has ever actually done this, where the mayor's gone out into the countryside to meet with farmers. A.G. Kalmer, the Secretary of Agriculture for the state, was also involved. He obviously is in Sacramento as a farmer, and wanted to participate in this because it's groundbreaking activity where a city would actually embrace the countryside around, engage in dialogue, and the mayor did that, and we really appreciated it. So as soon as this BART train goes by, I'm going to hand it to the mayor to talk about what has emerged for him around the urban-rural San Francisco Urban-Rural Roundtable. Mayor Newsom.
Thanks, Michael. Thank you, and thank you all for being here. I do like the backdrop of the BART train, right? It really underscores sort of the urban environment that we're in, and changing that environment and looking at ways of becoming environmental stewards in these dense urban cores, or in communities that don't necessarily think of the environment in terms of the day-to-day lives. And so this is a special place, and I want to thank Barbara and your team and Ebony for really all your stewardship and your work and your example and your inspiration with City Slickers and everything you're doing to promote urban agriculture and promote a consciousness around health and food nutrition and food security. These issues are incredibly important, and these issues are growing in consciousness, not just out here in the Bay Area, but throughout the state and the nation. And I think it's high time that more people begin to reconcile the fact that we have an eating and drinking problem in the United States of America. That eating and drinking problem is impacting our health, it's impacting our economy, it's impacting our ability to reconcile the incredible issues associated with environmental stewardship and global climate change at the same time. And that's really what we're promoting here, is a notion of interdependence, a systemic framework in terms of addressing our food needs on a regional basis. This urban-rural roundtable was a brainchild of Michael and Roots of Change and a team of folks you see behind me. The Secretary of Agriculture, AG, and his team that came together and said, we need to start developing partnerships. So much of the discussion is around the notion of urban centers versus suburban and rural areas, not looking at ways of building partnerships between our urban and rural cores. It goes without saying that most of the food that's consumed in this country is consumed by cities. So by definition, citizens within those urban centers should be designing and directing policy around food procurement and nutrition. And that's really what this new executive order that we're announcing and advancing today does. This executive order establishes the first food policy in our city's history. We have healthcare policies, environmental policies, we have education policy. We've never had food policy. And it seems so obvious, doesn't it, that we should have a food policy when you consider it's the one thing that binds us all together, is that we all share the fundamental need to eat each and every day. Yet we have no framework and no policy that has been organized and advanced. So we have an executive order that is advancing a series of principles. One is we want to see more gardens like this throughout at least our city and county. Obviously, Oakland is doing great work. We want to do even more in San Francisco. You remember the Victory Garden we had in our city? Well, we want hundreds and hundreds of versions of those Victory Gardens in people's backyards, on people's window sills. We want to see them on people's roofs. We want to take old converted median strips and convert them. So that's the first thing this executive order does. It identifies through an audit a survey of all the available land in our city to begin to convert those land to just these type of projects. Second, we want to establish new procurement strategies, new purchasing strategies. If we're going to buy food in San Francisco, let's buy it regionally. If we're going to buy food for our homeless shelters, if we're going to provide food for our lunch programs, both during the summer months as well as our after-school programs, if we're going to work with the school district, let's make sure the school district has nutrition plans that help support our kids and make them healthier and reduce the likelihood that they'll become obese. Let's focus on the procurement strategies as it relates to leases, food vending contracts with the city. If you're going to do business with the city and you have a lease with the city, you got to provide healthy alternatives. Just as we've done with water and soda, as we related the issue of obesity to calorically sweetened beverages, and we focused on the importance of making sure that we're not spending all this money on water bottles, but that we can provide that source of clean and pure drinking water without spending the money and without hurting the environment. We want to do the same thing with food. We have literally about 15 specific items. I think you all have a copy there. I don't need to belittle or belabor this by belittling your time and taking away any more of your time. But I think you'll get a sense of the breadth and depth of what we're trying to advance. I think this is an exciting thing. I think this is something that should take shape all across our state and all across this country. There's growing consciousness. Thank you, Michelle Obama, our First Lady. I think some of you know I went to the White House 2 weeks ago. The only thing I wanted to do was to see the garden. They thought I was a bit nuts. That was they said Oval Office, not interested. Didn't want to do none of that stuff. Just get me out to the garden. And I spent, I think, about an hour out there. It's a garden no bigger than this. In fact, I would argue, Barbara, your garden's bigger than the White House garden. But what it's meant in terms of promoting the issue of food and procurement and organic produce is incredibly powerful. And I also want to thank our First Lady of California, Maria Shriver, who is one of my, I think she walks on water. Everything she does, I think, is magnificent. And one of the things she's embraced is this as well, and she gets it. And so this is about our future. This is about our kids. It's about our health. This is about our environment. It's about our economy. So it's about bringing it all together, and it's about using common sense and using the power of purchasing and the power of policy making as cities to lead the way. Final point. There's an incredible principle at stake here as well. And the more that I do this and the more time I spend with people like Barbara and others, the more I appreciate this. When it comes, and people like AG remind me of this, in our culture where everything's fast-tracked and shortcut, when we look at the macroeconomic problems and that common denominator, which is greed, the one thing, I wanted to share this and hopefully someone will hear it as Bart passes. David, we got to work on the sound of the system out here. I thought Muni was bad. There's no shortcuts when it comes to farming and agriculture. And that's a very powerful lesson to our kids. We're very proud that we're taking a lot of the old pavement out of our public schools and we're beginning to convert them into these gardens. And a big part of that is not just the idea that we're educating people to eat better, but we're educating them in, I think, more substantive way in a mindset that is incredibly powerful and important, that there are no shortcuts to life. and that there are certain things you do have to be patient about. And there are things out of your control that exacerbate conditions. But if you keep working at things, you can make progress and you can improve things. And those are, I think, foundational principles that transcend. And I think those are also at play here. And I just want to underscore them as a big part of what we're trying to advance as it relates to the narrative of the educational component that's behind some of this substantive work you see enveloped around you. So thank you to our team. Thank you to Paula at the Health Department and her heroic efforts. We got a policy council she'll be leading. Thank you to Wade Crowfoot in my office for organizing this effort and being a principal point person and staff. Thank you to the Department of Human Services. We were out there last week in our food stamp announcement, which was also one of the parts of the executive order. We got ahead of ourselves. We just couldn't wait on that because we launched that July 1st. And thank you to our departments like Department of Children, Youth, and Family for leading the way and their example. But as I said, the best is yet to come. This is a landmark day for San Francisco in terms of our approach to food and nutrition, and I hope others will follow suit. And I want to again congratulate the City of Oakland and Mayor Dellums in absentia for his leadership. A lot of the inspiration and the partnerships candidly have come out of the City of Oakland, and we want to thank them for their example and leadership as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Newsom. Now, we'd like to hear from A.G. Kawamura, the Secretary of Agriculture for the state of California, who has been a great ally in building bridges between rural and urban people. So,
thank you. Well, the one thing I really want to do right now is eat one of these apricots. Are these amazing? To turn a vacant lot into a lot of abundance is what this is all about. I've always been a fan of edible landscaping, and one of the things we can continue to do is look at the resources we have to share, whether it's in an urban area, in the suburban area, and certainly in the rural areas as well. Mayor Newsom has done a tremendous job with his executive order of opening up some new doors in how we look on how we source our food supply, how we look at our food systems. We're excited to know that there's going to be a trade trip here coming up soon where all the buyers in the cities are going to be coming out to this 100-mile radius to go meet all the different producers out in this amazing food shed, which is Northern California, Central California. It's an amazing opportunity to see just how much abundance is in this area. And so as we look at the lessons to be learned, I think he made a very clear statement. We have a crisis in this country. It is about malnutrition. Now, malnutrition takes different shapes. It can be in the form of obesity. It can be in the form of hunger. Those are all symptoms of malnutrition. And one of the things that we all recognize that we have in our hands is a solution set to end hunger in this state, to end hunger in this city, to end hunger throughout this country. But we can't do it alone. And certainly those of us from agriculture working together with all the folks, whether it's food security folks, whether it's folks in the nutrition arena, wellness of a community, wellness of the human body, these are all things that we can all work towards. And certainly those of us from agriculture, we recognize that we have a population of plants or animals. Our goal is to make that plant or animal thrive. This is the same concept that I think governments can take throughout the country by reassessing, relooking at what their resource base is. And we're spending a lot of money to feed people, but we can certainly feed a lot more people and enhance the economies of local economies, enhance the health, and enhance certainly a new generation of growers and farmers that are out there and that are stepping up to the plate to meet these very, very critical needs. So with that, I'd just like to say thank you for all the partners here. You do have some amazing farmers here. Paul back here is one of the more amazing guys you'll see. But all the work being done, we just pledge our pledge is to continue to be focused on really this national, and it's an international effort to step forward, let agriculture enter this 21st century and enter it with a bang for your buck, because we're spending a lot of dollars. Let's see those results. Thanks for everybody, your being here. Thank you, Mayor, again, for your leadership here in the state. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Ann Wright from the USDA, the Deputy Undersecretary for Marketing and Regulation.
Thank you, Mayor, AG, and Michael, for the opportunity to be here. I'm thrilled and honored to be representing the department today. You've all heard about the White House garden, and you've probably heard about the one at USDA, but when he came into office, his first act as Secretary of Agriculture was Tom Vilsack, was to break ground on the People's Garden. And it sits right on the mall, and people can walk through it. They can sit on a bench in the middle of it. They can wander into the farmers market that's next door to it. It's an exciting opportunity for people to learn more about food, U.S. agriculture, and how food is raised, and what we need to be thinking about as we move forward. I'm thrilled to be here to support the initiative being rolled out by the mayor. I think it is bold and ambitious. I think it provides a lot of opportunity for shaping policy around healthy food systems, around policies that protect small and mid-sized farms and ranches, as well as protecting natural resources. It basically opens up a universe of opportunities and examples for how others across the country and even in this state are thinking about how to shape healthy food systems and food sheds. Thank you. I can guarantee you that the leadership team at USDA, as they move forward with initiatives, will be looking at this one as an example.
Thank you.
Paul Muller from Full Valley Farm over in the Capay Valley. If you've never been there, you got to get there. Paul.
Boy, it's hard to follow polished speakers, people who do this professionally. You hope that the train will go by just so you can move your lips. And then when about time it finishes, you can say thank you very much and walk away. But, my piece in this very, very amazing initiative is that I represent a segment of the rural population. And the partnership that is being talked about here, I think, is a new form of responsible relationships. Farmers do a lot of good things in creating food and food abundance so that we have food security. They work very hard at that. The farm workers working in the field add and contribute to that food abundance that we all share. We've come to grow to expect it. But this initiative is asking the question, how do we make it sustainable? How do we, in fact, support those farmers, support the rural people out there so that their livelihoods are healthy? We're developing policies that will keep them there, we're keeping the skill there, and that we're not losing any more farmers or good farmland. It's a responsible relationship that cities necessarily need to undertake with rural areas. We need to do those things. If we want farmers to be there, if we want a truly sustainable system and we secure food system, we have to begin to think of those things. Mayor Newsom said something very important. Things only grow so quickly. You can't hurry the garden along. You can't hurry the growth of a beet, and you also need to get people in touch with how fast that is. Perhaps there's something really healing that we need from rural areas also. We need their input. We need their reality to touch our lives so we know how fast we can do that. We know how to strike a balance between our fast-paced lives or the fast-paced lives in the city and how quickly things move and grow on a farm. They're the policies that will help preserve farmland in the outlying areas and keep farms intact. We'll necessarily need a regional approach. We'll need cities to back those things. We'll need legislation on the state level and on the city level and on the county level so governments are cooperating so that we can preserve not only farmland, but we can preserve the farmers and the capacity to produce good, healthy food. And we really appreciate, out there speaking, I think, for a lot of farmers, this new initiative to look in a more collaborative way at how we keep our agriculture healthy and sustainable and vibrant for years to come. So we thank you very much.
Gina Fromer, head of the YMCA, Executive Director of the Bayview Hunter Point YMCA, and a member of the Urban Rural Roundtable.
Gina.
Good morning. I am also a member of the Food Security Task Force for the City of San Francisco, and I'm honored to be here today. Mayor Newsom, thank you for the leadership on this issue. My organization, the Bayview Hunters Front YMCA, operates multiple food programs that impact our food system in the city. We run a food pantry, after-school snack program. We run cooking and education nutritional classes for the community and our young people. We have a garden. We just opened up a garden that's not in the ground yet. We have big pots that are around. We just grew some strawberries. The kids love them, and they were really excited. Our food pantry, our FRC, which is our Family Resource Center, is now one of the sites for the remote access food stamp enrollment program. So we're really happy about that. So I see firsthand the issue of food from a holistic community perspective. Our need is skyrocketing. Our food pantry went from 800 people to 3,000 people in over 2 months, and I kid you not. A lot of families are out of work, and they are coming to places where they feel comfortable and safe, and the Bayview YMCA is a place that they are embarking on for food systems. We also see firsthand that when young people experience healthy choices, they will begin to choose healthy options of food. We have apples that are sitting on a desk, and kids run in and they grab them. Before they were running down to the vending machines, which actually got out of the Y at this point. They're on their way out. But children are having more healthy choices. I'm sorry. My work on the Food Securities Task Force and the Urban Roundtable have highlighted the need for coordination and collaboration between city agencies and community groups to acquire and achieve the need to support the need for food in our city. That's why I'm excited that the mayor has issued this Executive Directive on healthy and sustainable food. The Executive Directive engages all city agencies into partnering with the community to build a food system that serves the needs of our people in our city. At least they're running on time. This is great. The formation of a food policy council will ensure that the issue of food will be at the forefront and remain a high priority, and that these systems will be institutionalized for our city. I am really excited about that. And working firsthand in the community and seeing the families and the need, I know that this is going to be pertinent for all the communities in San Francisco. And I appreciate Mayor Newsom's and all the people here and their leadership on this issue. I'm really excited about that for Bayview Hunters Point and for our city. Thanks.
Thank you, Gina. Before I go to Q&A, I guess I just wanted to point out David Shea, the Chief of Staff for the Mayor, Mayor Dellums of Oakland. We really appreciate your support in putting this event together, and we're looking forward to the Mayor hopefully showing up tomorrow at the other meeting that's going on in town, and we appreciate the Mayor's work on supporting projects like this that Barbara's doing with City Slicker Farms. So, Barbara, once again, thank you very much for hosting us, and I guess we're open to Q&A for the Mayor.
Right. Any questions for any of us on this topic? At peril of... Well, we don't have a price tag yet, but we're spending a lot of money on our neglect. If the issue of obesity is as real as we believe, we're paying for that in terms of chronic disease management. We're paying for that in our healthcare delivery system on the back end. This is an investment into our children and our future, an investment into reducing healthcare costs, an investment in supporting our economy and supporting the region's economy. So from my perspective, the real question is, why are we spending so much money by continuing the policies of the status quo? Why don't we focus on investing and reducing those costs on the back end? And that's, I think, the big focus of this initiative. Take advantage of silence. Yes. The Secretary understands this in particular, and USDA, of course, as well. Take advantage. The press has nothing to ask.